All right, guys, we have got our Tampa Bay Buccaneers in-depth preview here for you guys. A fun team, a good football team, and we're going to jump right on into it. Of course, we're going to do our regular fun stuff, go through the coaching, the roster, the schedule, any bets we make, and all that fun stuff at the end. So why don't we go ahead and start? We'll start with the coaching staff. Todd Bowles is the coach here. Todd Bowles is fine. Not a guy I particularly love in terms of being a head coach. I think he's a good coordinator, to be fair, and I think the defense is elevated a little bit by the way he does things, but I don't think it's enough really for me in terms of just like making him a really good coach or anything like that. My personal view was to keep one of the offensive coordinators so you don't got to keep rotating them. But again, it's fine, nothing crazy. Offensive coordinator, they bring up Josh Grizzard. He was the passing coordinator last year, so hopefully a little bit of continuity in the scheme and a few other things going forward. Obviously, this is their third straight offensive coordinator, or third straight different offensive coordinator now. It's a lot of change, and again, I don't expect it to be some crazy drop or anything like that, but again, Cohen was a really good coordinator, and the guy before him was a good coordinator, so we'll have to be proven right, of course. I expect it to be okay coming in, but there's a world where he's just not good at this, and there's a world where this falls apart a little bit offensively in terms of play calling and stuff. But again, there's a little bit of continuity here, and hopefully he's ready to roll. So it's obviously a pretty big part of the football team. So we'll see. But let's jump into the roster. Quarterback, Baker Mayfield. Backup, Kyle Trask or Teddy Bridgewater. I'm not sure if any of those were announced yet. They're both fighting for the 2 job. Regardless of who gets the 2 job, it's kind of a step down. I worry about the ability of any of those 2 quarterbacks to go ahead and win football games. Trask in particular, and I don't think Teddy gets bought in here unless Trask is like comfortably the 2, which is also kind of a worry here. So if Baker does miss time, it's a pretty significant fall off here. As for Baker, excellent. He's been excellent for a couple years now, ever since he got to Tampa. He's just been very good. Everything he does is very good. And again, this is his 3rd coordinator in a bit. And I don't want to make it seem like I think Baker is a system guy, but Baker has had 2 really good years, and they both came with really good coordinators. So if this coordinator is not very good, there's a world where this drops back a little bit, perhaps. But there's also a world here where Baker's just that guy now, which is where I kind of lean. I think he's just above it now. So even if the coordinator is bad, I think Baker can outperform and do a variety of different things. He's had time to grow into this into what he is. And again, the difference between Baker and what happens with like an Anthony Richardson is you got 3 or 4 years in Cleveland and got a chance in Carolina, got that chance in LA and proved himself a little bit that he was there and ready to go, got to Tampa and took off with a really good coordinator. And it's not necessarily luck, but he's had time to like learn the NFL. Like, a lot of quarterbacks don't get that opportunity, and there are, quarterbacks who, when you do, just being a backup in the league for a while probably helps that. Getting reps, for longer periods of time really helps that, and you're seeing it a little bit here with Baker Mayfield, and it's paying off quite handsomely. He's playing extremely well. But yeah, I expect him to continue to play well, and going forward, again, it's excellent. That throw he made when I think about Baker Mayfield, that throw he made in the Saints game toward the end of the year, last game of the year, where it was 30 yards right to the corner of the end zone. I think McMillan caught it. That sticks. That really sticks with my head when I think about Baker. But let's move on. Can't think about Baker all day. He's very, very good. And we'll move on into running back. Bucky Irving is the number 1 here. A really, really great running back. Last year, he was getting like secondary touches for the first like 8-9 games, it felt like, and everybody could see it. And it was like, when is when is Bucky going to be the guy? When's Bucky going to be the guy? Eventually, the coaching staff could not ignore it anymore, which is what it felt like they were doing, and he was getting tons of touches, tons of really good touches, and again, he's behind a good offensive line, so like his outlook. We'll talk about him a little bit later, but Bucky's a really good running back. Rashad White is the secondary guy. Not as good as Bucky and can hold his own as a number one back. I don't think he really is like he may be really low end number one, high end number two, but a really good two and a nice change of pace when you bring him into the football game. Sean Tucker the third here. So they're deep, they're good. And behind a good offensive line, which makes it even tougher for opposing defenses stopping the run here. So really like the running back room, really like the quarterback room. So we're off to a pretty good start. Wide receiver, another elite room, top 5 for me, pretty much no doubt. There are some issues here. Again, Mike Evans is here, continues his 1,000-yard streak and is a very good jump ball guy. He's getting a little bit older, so some of his route running stuff is fading a little bit, but his athleticism is still very much there. Again, his ability to get up is still very much there, and that's what made him good and what continues to make him good. He's an excellent wide receiver. And his biggest issue, again, he's getting slightly older, but not even that. It's the injury stuff. He's starting to miss games, and it's sort of becoming a pattern. Obviously, you don't write him down. I'm not writing him down to miss games or anything, but again, the injury risk is certainly there. Chris Godwin, another excellent wide receiver. He was really good last year. Dealing with an injury, so he won't be back until October-ish, it feels like. So we'll see there. But again, a really talented wide receiver, was playing really well. Continues to play really well, and when he's back and fit and rolling, obviously a huge addition to the offense. Emeka Egbuka, the rookie, comes in, really talented, one of my favorite receivers in the draft, one of those players who's probably just going to be doing his thing for 10 years in the NFL. Adds to an already good wide receiver room, and he'll be getting snaps early and often and getting touches, and I expect, and everything like that. I expect him to be good, but also he hasn't played in the NFL before, so we'll wait and see till we get there, but looks to be a really good addition. Jalen McMillan, another one. He had a really good year last year, talented, young. He's going to be out. Another one who's going to be out till that October range, I think. Don't quote me on that necessarily, but he's going to be out a bit. He landed on his neck, on his back, came out of that game with a brace in that preseason game the other day. So hope for a swift recovery there, but when he's back, should be fine and a good part of the offense. I mean, McMillan, theoretically, fully healthy, is the 4. It's a pretty good and a pretty deep room. Trey Palmer's here. He's okay. Tez Johnson, younger player. We'll see about him. Sterling Shepard. It's deep. It's pretty deep, and again, very talented at all levels. So a very good room. Tight end, pretty solid. Cade Otton. He's definitely got the tools to be a really good tight end. Doesn't have to do a ton here, which may keep his numbers down and stuff like that, but a really good option, good player. Payne Durham's here, a solid backup. So the tight end room is good to go along with elite pretty much everywhere else on the offense. So this is the worst room. Cade Otton being like an average tight end is the worst room on the offense, which says quite a lot. Offensive line, when healthy, top 3, no doubt here. Last year, pass block win rate 5th, run block win rate 6th, dealing with injuries there. They're going to deal with a pretty big injury to start this season, with Tristan Wirfs being out until that October range. So again, they're going to play 5-6 games here that are going to miss Godwin, McMillan, Wirfs, so it could be problematic on the offense as they transition. But again, still talented outside of that. Gadecki is the other bookend tackle. Well, we can talk about Wirtz a little bit more. Again, he'll be injured, but super talented, probably the best pass blocking tackle in the league, just genuinely really great. Again, Gadecki, another solid guy, top 25 type guy there. at his position, and just a really, really, really good player on the other side of Wirfs, and you've got two bookend tackles that are great. Interior is probably where the biggest issues are, I suppose. Barton's okay. Bredesen's okay. May play a little bit of tackle. Cody Mauk had a really good year last year. Played like a top 15 guy, genuinely. So if he can keep playing like that, you're looking at 3 players on this offensive line that are really great. One of one guy at left tackle, a top 15 guy, a top 25-ish guy, solidity at center, left guard. There's continuity here, assuming Wirfs comes back okay. You're just looking at a really, really great, talented unit here. Again, obviously it'll start kind of slow. That's the expectation at least. But also, you're not playing, like there are some games here where you're still not really threatened early with the opposing defensive lines. So there'll be some issues. Wirfs is, again, the top end tackle. And it's a big miss, and you're going to have to move some guys around, move someone to left tackle out there. But again, the rest of the offensive line is really good, and when fully healthy, a top 3 unit. So offensively, you're looking at elite talent all over the place, genuinely. And again, early it might be an issue because there are injuries, big injuries. Godwin, Wirfs, McMillan, new coordinator, of course, we've talked about. So there's a world here where this offense starts kind of slow. I wouldn't be too worried. If we get to November and it's playing poorly when the guys are back, then it's an issue. But again, those guys will make such a huge difference coming back. I'm expecting this to no doubt be a top 10 offense, like at worst be a top 10 offense. At best, we're talking genuinely like a top 3-ish offense. It's really, really good and really, really talented. Defensive line, a bit different, or defense, a bit different. A bit lower on this unit. Again, Todd Bowles is the coach here, and it bugs me that the defense isn't as good, but it's also, when you kind of look at it, not super talented. There are talented pieces, but in terms of overall, probably not that great. Defensive line, not great. There is some talent on it. Diaby is a top 20-ish rusher, or probably top somewhere between 15 and 20, but a really talented rusher. Vita Vea, another really good defensive tackle, probably in that 15 to 20 range as well. So you're looking at 2 really good players there. The rest of the defensive line is a genuine issue. Interior, Kalijah Cansey has not gotten there. In fact, the opposite. He's been really, really terrible so far. Like genuinely like a bottom 20 D tackle so far. And we're talking like, in terms of qualifying for that, we're talking there are like 120 total D tackles who qualify for that stuff. The bottom 20 is really, really not good. Brewer was also very much not good, hasn't gotten his career to where he wants it. So you're looking at interior that's just really not okay. Hall, okay-ish, maybe. We're like top 55-ish type guy. So again, not a ton on the interior except Vita Vea. And that showed last year in the run stop stuff. The run defense was like 31st in the NFL, really, really bad. So that shows up statistically and shows up on tape and shows up just down to down. It's a bit of an issue. Edge, outside of Diaby, there's not a lot. Braswell, maybe. But again, Nelson, not good. Reddick comes in, and I know that expectation with the name and stuff. But last year was really bad for him. Of course, a variety of things happen, and it's a 1-year sample, so we'll need to see that come up. But his entire year was really bad. Normally, when a guy moves or leaves a place, and you're like, maybe it's just where he's at, where he's going, how he's being played and stuff. Normally, some good still pops on tape and stuff like that. Very much not the case with Reddick, which is my biggest worry about that. So again, in name, fine. And if you don't want to weight last year as heavily, which is also completely fine, the rest of his career is really good. Again, last year, though, was really bad, and there was very, very few situations that popped at all. So we'll see with Reddick, and maybe just being in a new place across from another good edge is all he needs, and that's perfectly acceptable and perfectly possible as well. So we'll see. But on paper, for me, 2 really good players and then a lot of bad, which is an issue. I mean, you're talking a Diaby or a Vita Vea injury away from having very, very little on the defensive line. Linebacker is an okay unit. Levante David is still here. Levante David is getting older and getting a little bit worse, and that's perfectly okay. Still plays very hard, and his run stop stuff is really good. His coverage stuff declining pretty rapidly and very much not good. He's like a top 35-ish linebacker, is where I would put him. Again, it's tough to say that because he's been so good for so long and been in Tampa Bay for that long, but it's kind of coming, that end is kind of coming. So we'll see. Anthony Walker was really bad. Dennis is solid in his snaps. My biggest issue with Dennis is that there are just not a lot of snaps to look at, very limited. So if he keeps this pace up, he'll be a pretty solid linebacker. But also sample size, you're looking at before you get really anything out of anybody in the NFL, you're looking at a 500 snap sample size. He's only played 200, so need a bit more sample. And again, he may jump in and be ready to roll, and just continue to play at that level. But until we see it a little bit more, can't put him in that category just yet. But if he does come in and play, there's a solid room. You get Levante David, who's solid, and Dennis, who's solid. Nothing great, but not truly awful, which, again, it has the potential to be. If Dennis isn't, solid, and then Walker is the one who has to start, and David steps back a little bit more, you're looking at a pretty bad room. So we'll see there. There's a variety of different outcomes here for this linebacker unit. Secondary, super interesting. Corner is good. Jamal Dean was really good last year. Tyke Smith played a bunch of snaps in the slot last year. He was quite good. At the moment, his designation is all over the place. No matter where I look, it's different. Some have him at safety, some have him at corner. But he was solid at corner last year, so we'll see there. But also the safety room's been really bad, and if he has to move to safety, so be it. But he was good last year in coverage. Run defense in particular as well. McCollum was okay, nothing crazy. Vildor is interesting because he was really bad, but also a lot of people complained about his fit, and this is a much better fit. So there's a world where his metrics, might be able to throw them out, and he might be a decent addition here, but we'll see there. You signed Morrison and Parrish from the draft, 2nd and 3rd round guys. There's word that one will start. So there's if they can come in and be useful early, that's a big step up, especially if Smith can go play safety. That's a big one as well. So you're adding positivity in 2 spots if you get one of these corners to come in and play well. So we'll see. Again, safety room, not good. If Smith's going to play there, it's okay. Antoine Winfield had a really bad year last year. We'll see if he can come back to it, but he was bad last year. Isian was bad. Merriweather was okay, but another one with limited snaps. So we'll see. There's a world where this defense has a lot of a decent range of outcomes. We're looking like an average, maybe, if everything kind of hits. If Reddick hits and Dennis hits and one of the rookie corners hits, you're looking at about average defense, which is huge because the offense is so good. But also there's a world where Reddick doesn't hit and Dennis doesn't hit and rookie corners, are rookies. And in that world, you're looking at a defense that's bottom 10-ish. So we'll see. There's a variety of outcomes here. I'm hopeful. Again, there's talent, but we have to see it. It's just as simple as that. But yeah, you're looking at a really, really good offense potentially and an okay defense, and that may just be enough. Schedule. super interesting. Again, you're going to be missing some big players early. Wirfs, Godwin, McMillan, which is a worry against really good defense. You play Atlanta away from home week 1. You're probably not going to be super tested necessarily. They have some early round edge rushers, and other than that, pretty much nothing on the edge. So you may get away with the Wirfs injury here. Their defense overall is probably not great, and maybe Godwin and McMillan aren't needed here. Houston's a different story. Really good edge rushers over there, and will cause problems for this offensive line. Good corners. There's a word where Stingley just takes Evans out of this football game altogether, so that'll be a tough one. Jets, kind of similar there. Decent secondary. Philadelphia at home, another good one. You're going to get problems here, theoretically, if guys aren't back. Obviously, not writing them off, but in terms of the players missing, it'll be more of an issue here against Philadelphia. At Seattle, guys should be coming back around here. San Francisco, this is a tough run. Philadelphia at Seattle, San Francisco at Detroit is a really tough run. Then you go to New Orleans, where you're hoping they've just tanked altogether. Then you have a bye. And then out of the bye, fully healthy football team, theoretically, is where you can probably start to make your push. New England, at Buffalo, at the Rams, both tough. And then 3 home games in a row here, which you're going to be favored in. Arizona at home, New Orleans at home, Atlanta at home, at Carolina, at Miami, Carolina. So you're hoping to kind of just get to that last 6 in contention, man. 5 and 6 in this division. With that last 6, that's a 11-win team, theoretically. You can definitely win your last 6 fully healthy here. So, again, just kind of probably have to just tread a little bit of water. And this team's possibly better than that. But you can just tread water until these big guys come back. You're looking at a good season, I feel like, here. So we've made a couple bets and a couple positive bets here. One, in terms of that good season, Bucs to win the division at plus 100, $3.50 bet. Again, that last stretch there makes me feel like they could really get going and push. I mean, again, 11 wins will win this division. 10 wins may win this division. 9 wins may genuinely win this division. So 8 wins could win this division. I would not be surprised. So there's a world where you win the last 6 and get in regardless of where you're sitting. If you're sitting at 3 and 11, or not 3 and 11, 3 and 8, and you win your last 6, get to 9 and 8, that can win this division. So there's upside. There's winnable games early. If this team starts 4-0, I'm not surprised either. There's talent, and if they hit the ground running on offense, very, very much capable of doing enough to win this division. And if they're having some struggles, like the Eagles, Houston, San Francisco, Detroit, get at this offensive line, and their early losses here, probably just going to buy more division, to be perfectly honest. So I really like the Bucs to win the division here. And then our second bet, Bucky Irving, 1,500 plus rush yards at plus 1250. That is a 70-cent bet. This is a shot play here. To lead the league, I have no problem with 1,500, 2,000 plus, whatever. Like, Bucky Irving, fully healthy behind this offensive line, should get tons of touches and be very good, number one. And number two, you're looking at a lot of front sevens, run defending teams that are pretty bad. Again, the whole division, Carolina, Atlanta, New Orleans, all pretty bad in that department. And then further down the line, New England might not be super great. Arizona, not super great. Miami may have just fallen off altogether. So we're going to take some upward trajectory portions here with Bucky Irving. And again, this is a football team that could win a lot of games by margin. And if they're winning by margin, second half stuff, just a couple extra rushes in there. So we'll see. But that's our shot there. And hopefully we can cash the division and our shot there. But there it is, guys. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.